G'day everyone, Jason Nunn from Fisherman's Warehouse Marine, and obviously Patrick and the boys setting up over there at Warners Bay as we speak. And obviously we're in the final throes of just moving all the equipment out of the Fisherman's Warehouse at Marks Point. So again, thanks for everyone for coming down. A lot of support there on Monday. It was absolutely fantastic to catch up with a lot of very, very good friends that we've made over the years. And of course we'll continue these fishing reports each Friday, and obviously today Thursday because of Australia Day tomorrow. And certainly today, how hot is it? I mean, I'm just getting baked down here at the Ungala Road ramp. Just had a look at the ramp itself just to see how it was all, when it was put back together with that like concrete webbing, I suppose you could say, to top out the scouring that was happening. The ramp itself in pretty good nick, and I think this will be heavily used, no doubt, today, tomorrow, and definitely probably Saturday. There's a bit of a change coming. So guys, 40 degrees today on the coast, 41 tomorrow. It's going to be damn hot. And of course, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see that little bit of a southerly change, which will temper the temperatures through Saturday and Sunday. But a great long weekend period for everybody getting out. Out wide, of course, the marlin have just continued, and that water temperature, 26.5, bordering on 27 in patches. But there's a lot of fish out there. I know Paddy Nunn had an opportunity to get out there this week, or actually on Sunday, and have a fish on Quasi. You got a nice striped marlin, had a few others up, but there was quite a few fish getting caught between Port Stephens and Broken Bay. A lot of fish out there, but there was some very, very good dolphin fish, and some of these fish easily 15, maybe 20 kilo. A lot of these fish 1.3 metres in length or better. So there's some big dolphin fish out there on that, you know, the shelf. Probably the 80 fathoms to around about 250 fathoms seems to be the real pick of the spot, you know, the areas. And there's a lot of slimies back in on the hard shelf, so you can jig a few of those guys and get out a little bit wider. On the inshore reefs and certainly around the FAD, yeah, look guys, there are dolphin fish there, but guys are really struggling to get legal fish at the moment. And that'll get better because that water temp is slowly moving in. And an example of that is today, where the water on the beach is 22 degrees. So this has got this real summer theme happening, and the water is blue. Basically in here, we're on the last of the high tide at the present moment. Tomorrow, for example, high tide in the morning, 1.9 metres, a great tide, at around about 9:40 and around about 4:20 in the afternoon for low tide. And of course tomorrow, being Australia Day, the full moon. So it's really this build up to the full moon that'll come alive. I think these inshore reefs will be the go. This water temp at 22 degrees, a lot of bonitos still around, but trag, few mulloway if you're keen to get a few liveys, and still a few reds. Just got to move around, guys, and just, you know, possibly areas up towards Redhead, Merriweather on that inshore stuff. And I just think early on that tide is probably the real pick tomorrow, that early morning before the full moon comes in. I reckon will be the better on offer. But still, it's not perfect on those offshore reefs, but definitely worthwhile. Have a bit of a crack, maybe a bit of a drift, to get a few flathead. On the beaches, look, whiting, dart, we've talked about it a lot lately, and quite a few mulloway as well. A few brim and the odd tailor for the afternoon angler. The rocks, surprisingly enough, there's still a few drummer around. Spoke to a good mate, Justin Worley, this week. He was able to get 4 or 5 really nice drummer last weekend. So it just shows you, even though we talk about drummer as being a winter species, they're obviously there throughout the year and they've got to eat. So it's just a matter of getting down there and having a bit of a look. And I think early you'll start to see some of those tailor on the washes just before daylight. And there has been a few really nice kingies around on those ocean rocks. There's a little bit of spice added into that. In the estuary, this is going to be a real busy place tomorrow. There'll be a lot of people around, places like the Granny's Hole up the road there, Nauru, and certainly over the back of Cooney Island over there. That's going to be absolutely packed, and it'll probably be gridlock. So if you're going to get out early to get a position, I would assume you should do so, because it's going to be very, very busy, and these ramps are going to be the same, particularly this nor'wester. And tomorrow they're saying the nor'wester could get up 20-25 knots. So that's really kicking into gear. That's about 50 k's an hour, or maybe a little bit better, and that's why we're going to have this real heat wave effect at 41 degrees. So just be careful. Obviously, a lot of block out and keep your safety equipment on. Waterways, no doubt, and fisheries will be out on the water. Certainly in the estuary here, they'll be no doubt on PWCs and in boats. So you've got to make sure that you check everything and you're compliant at all degrees. Otherwise, I'll just be giving you an early mark and punting you off home. Some really nice brim in the system. I know Pat had an opportunity to have a fish midweek, got a few nice brim, but I'm getting some really good reports. Bobby Mowbray's out there at the moment. I'm going to catch up with him later on. But the big tides are where it all comes together, so you can start to fish those areas down around Swansea Flats, the backs of the islands, into Belmont Bay, and get in fairly tight for these big brim on this big tide. Some good whiting still around, of course, and look, still whiting up on the breakwater, but not as many as there were coming through that late November, December period. Good flathead in the channel. We're getting to the tail end now of that spawn. They'll probably go through to around about mid-February, and of course, in about a week's time or thereabouts, we'll see the first of the game tournaments happening. The Lake Macquarie Big Fish Bonanza happening out of Lake Macquarie, and of course some really good prize money up for grabs this year, and probably one of the highlights, heaviest marlin over 150 kilo, $10,000. So there'll be a lot of people out there competing, and the water out there at the moment is ideal for big blue marlin. So there'll be a lot of activity on the Big Fish Bonanza on the weekend of the 3rd, and of course the 4th. I'll be doing the skeds, keep my old voice ready to roll and tick along, so looking good for that. A few crabs in the lake, guys, but again, you're going to have to work around, and a lot of females with eggs and a lot of, you know, watery males. That mating process still going on, but a lot of squid, and I think that's ideal for this long weekend period. Be able to take the kids down there, jig a few squid, maybe down rig a few kings, or put a couple of squid down and drift, maybe target a mulloway out of the lake. I think there's plenty of options, but all in all, guys, be safe. I'm melting here. I've got to get out of here. We've got to pack the business up and get out as well, and I will see you next Friday.